Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chestnut channel. For December, we're concentrating on Clan MacQueen. It's our 12th month of the year and our 12th clan of the year. Uh, MacQueen month in December. And here to talk to me about that is my friend Tim Elgin from Wilkesboro, North Carolina. He's been representing MacQueen down there at the tents and several events. How are you doing today, Tim?
Doing pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Good to see you. I know you were a grandfather and you plan to be on Smoky Mountain next year and grandfather.
Yes,
We like to get a little background on McQueen if we can, I suppose, and where they came from, how their interrelationship with Clan Hatton came about, things like that.
yes.
Um, so I know an island clan, which many of us are. Can we start out there, you think, or what?
Yes, actually, depending on how far back you want to take the McQueens, in the early 1300s, there was actually a marriage. Let me get the name right here from Lady Margaret O'Cath married a MacDonald, and she brought some McQueens over from Northern Ireland.
Oh, is that right?
And yes, that was one of the first mentions of the McQueens. They were actually part of the dowry of the marriage.
Hmm.
Um, at that point, the McQueens pretty much were, I guess you can say, a sept of Clan MacDonald.
Yes.
Um, it wasn't until I want to say it was 1539. I might be wrong with the date, but that's close. Um, during a battle with um, the MacLeods for, or the MacLeods for the Totterness Peninsula, that they were granted the lands of Northern Skye, which is where a small patch of the McQueens actually settled in at.
I
Um,
see.
now, in between that, in the 1400s, the marriage to the Mackintoshes brought the McQueens in to the central part of Scotland and became part of Clan Hatton from there.
So it's a repeat of the earlier scenario, Tim.
Yeah,
Right,
yes, exactly.
which is a common theme. Um, right, whatever that means. We don't know exactly whether it was her household people or her cousins or what, but we always hear about fellow kinsmen or, kind of a hard word to decipher some of these. They just mention things like her train of people or her guard, perhaps.
Yeah, I know with the Mackintoshes, the McQueens were more the guards or the escorts for the wedding party.
Hmm.
They carried in, and then they, like you mentioned, Clan Rivan was with them. That's who settled in and became the McQueens of Coryboro and the Finehorn Valley.
Yes, I have the name here, I think, in one of my this book that you've probably seen me referring to throughout the year, Minor Steps of Clan Hatton.
Yes.
He does talk about that. If I can take a look at this for a second. Um, Ravon Mac Mulmore MacAngus is one of the ways his name is written.
Yes.
Somewhere else, I have some notes where there's two other. Oh, actually, there's two other types that his name has been said as MacIsaac, and also I saw something IASH, which I'm not sure how to say that, but it could be a MacIsaac spelling of a sort. Um,
Right.
at any rate, he's son of there, Ravan MacMelmore MacAngus, of who the clan Ravan are descended. So
Yes.
he was one of these guys that came over with the wedding, apparently.
And I think from there with the McQueens pretty much were, pledged their allegiance to the Clan Mackintosh and Clan Chattan from there. Served proudly with them. We were known with, still within the McDonald's on the Isle of Skye. So a lot of people say we have two different clans there,
Hmm.
but to me, we're all family.
Right. I did see that they considered themselves still part of McQueen, not forever cut off.
Right. I'm just like one big thing we have is a lot of the McSweeney's. People like McSween and McQueen are together, but um, the McSweens were in Argyle, and they had
Oh,
a
okay.
I think it's one of the oldest stone castles in Scotland of Castle Sween. In the see if I got a date here. Yeah, 1376. The castle was then granted by King Robert II to Clandonald, and a lot of the McQueens or McSweens became McQueens and followed in with Donald. The rest of the McSweeneys, a lot of them ended up going to Ireland and becoming part of Clan Sweeney in Ireland.
All right. Would this be part of the Gallaglass groups or no? I think that
Possibly
might.
so, but everybody keeps asking me how the McSweens split off and became part of Ireland and then part of the McQueens. And it was pretty much when Clan MacDonald got the castle that some of them left with Donald and went back to Skye.
Yeah, I can see where that would happen. So that's 1376, right?
Yes.
And then the next thing that I would know about in my writings and readings here is Harlaw in 1411.
Yes. The bloody
Uh,
battle. Yes.
yeah, which involved, well, the Lord. You probably know this, but the Lord of the Isles. Um, I believe his wife was a Ross. I think she was the heir to Ross, um, or perhaps his niece. I don't have that right in my head completely right now. Um, and the Earl of Mar was also an uncle to the heiress of Ross. And Alexander of the Isles did not want him to get Ross from its heiress, which he was designing to do as it looked to Donald of the Isles. So he came east to try to quell that or do something about that. And the Earl of Mar's nephew, the Wolf of Badenoch, apparently met them and at Harlaw, and the McQueens there, McBeans as well, McBains rather, as well. Mackintoshes were there as well. So so this is actually that's before this marriage that we talk about in MacDonald from Moydart came over, right?
Yes. Because I do know the during the Battle of Culloden, the McQueens in the Isle of Skye, they were actually their lands were forfeit at the time too. So, here's a tie back to another battle. Everybody knows the big battle there, but yeah, at that point, a lot of the McQueens did lose their lands in Skye. So that's where a lot of the focus kind of has fallen into Coryborough for so many years.
Okay, yeah. Which are what we call the Hatton McQueens.
Yes.
Okay, yep. In that same book, I'll have to take a real hard look at it, but because it's not translated out of, I don't know, it's not really Old Scots, but it's a little of everything. There's a detailed thing about a not very nice McQueen. I don't know if he was in Coryborough or nearby or in that area, but there's a big write-up about him that was recorded, his deeds and misdeeds that were in court or something. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing. I'll have to make a little segment about that if I can shake out of there what it says for everybody, I will. If not, it's not going to come out good. So
Yeah, there are some tales actually on the Isle of Skye of some devious McQueens themselves. Um,
that might be him.
yeah, they got into some some bad things, and it's the stories are great to hear. But yeah, I've got a book that's got a lot of the stories in them too. So if you ever venture down that road, we can do this again.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. So did you want to talk a little bit about Grandfather Mountain and how that was? And I
Yes,
know
yeah, yeah.
I know there's what about first of all, a McQueen chief. I know that there was a chief, correct? And he go to, was it New Zealand or Australia
Yes. Yeah, he
from?
it was, I guess you can say, financial difficulties. He lost the lands there at Corriboro and
Okay.
left to go to New Zealand, and pretty much he had no interest in continuing on from there. There is still a technical lineage. He still has sons, but no one has made a claim to the chieftain of the clan.
And this was, I think this was 1804 or 5, was it?
Yes,
Okay. He exited Scotland from the Hatton region, not the Skye region,
right.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Not that that's a big point, but we just want to state the facts, that's all. Um,
Yes, and do you know there are still a lot of McQueens that are in the New Zealand and Australia area?
okay, yeah, I saw that too. In the US, I know you've been convening, we call it, right, at the tents representing the
Yeah.
clan and talking to people. Are you getting a lot of interest? Does it seem a lot of McQueens in the US?
Yeah, we have. I was actually surprised for it to be our first year at grandfather last year. There were times that our tent was almost standing room only, that we had so many people coming by and just seeing us and going, "Oh my God, we did not know you were here. We didn't
Wonderful.
expect to see you here." Some of them were there trying to trace their family themselves, and then suddenly, hey, here we are. And it has branched out from there. There's a lot of people that are like, next year we're going to bring more family because we did not know we had a tent, so we want to be a part of it.
Right.
And I met some great people um, with so many different clans as well. But it was nice to actually get in there and see the look on people's face when you get to sit there and discuss the family with them
Right.
and help them find their part of the clan, where their family came from, because there's so many lines of McQueen that came in. We might
Yep.
be a small clan, but there's so many tie-ins. It's very amazing.
Nice to be able to talk that point to people too. I don't have the luxury of, one clan to focus on, or a lot of times there are many, many lines, and I don't know where to tell people about that. I'm more of a general thing, but that's why we've been focusing on all the clans during the year so I can learn more of this. And it's so rewarding, isn't it, Tim? Like you just said, the look on their face, or you hear, or the appreciation in their voice when they start to find these things out. You're handing them gold, really. You know,
Yes, yeah.
you really are.
And we actually we were lucky enough. Um, we had two people show up at our tent last year, and they were both from the same line and did not even realize they were related at all.
Yep.
It went back to like a great grandfather as far as the relation. So, they both came with the information of, this is what I have. And we're like, wait a minute, y'all are actually related, very closely related. Sometimes we talk our relations as generations back, but these two were just a few generations off from each other. Never met before and just happened to be there, the
Huh.
same tent, same games.
Ah, perfect storm. That's beautiful. Now we're talking Quins and Queens and Mac Queens and Sweens and Sweeneys, Mac
Yes.
Sweens, all these.
Yeah. And I get some wonderful people to talk about how with the sets of McQueen, they're so varied but so close. Um, it was back in I think 1696 is when they did um the act of settling schools in Scotland, to where everything became more anglicized or more English as
Okay.
far as how the pronunciation of everything went.
Hmm.
Before that, it was more phonic, so there was so many Scottish dialects with the same names. So you get the Queen, Quinn, Quin, Sween, all of them tied in to become the Queen. But it wasn't until really in like the 1697 when they started bringing a lot of the language to one spelling of a lot,
I
when that
see.
was being forced by the English.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, that's not your name. This is.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of them, when they say when they crossed over the to a to the United States that a lot of them dropped the MC or the MAC or the O and just became Quinn or Queen.
Yep.
Sometimes it was just to start fresh as well.
Right. Yep. And so if anyone's watching from the other clans or you're not sure, there's nothing to do with son of a queen here. Nobody is the son of a queen to do with this clan. Although it might seem that certainly to the eye, why wouldn't it? But it's actually, why don't you say, is it Sween and Sven became
Yeah,
anglicized as queen?
yeah. And a lot of them say it goes back to Sween, and there's some that say it goes back to actual Khan or Kuan from the High Kings.
Okay. Yeah, it's always stemming back to Northern Ireland. It always is. Always is. Through Dalriada, filters through Dalriada in the islands. Things get dropped
Yes.
off on the islands on the way to the mainland. This is like the 12th story like this almost. Maybe not 12, but
Yeah.
uh, certainly 7 out of 12 or more. I don't know how many I'm talking about even anymore.
I hear a lot of people
I'm going a
say,
little clanny here at the end of the year, if you know what I mean, Tim. So,
yeah. And we had so many people say, I thought we were Ulster Scots. And I was like, well, there was a point where our families did and, came from Northern Ireland, went back to Northern Ireland during some of the
yep,
settlements and came back. So yeah, there was some crisscrossing from the Isles to Ireland to Scotland and back and forth. It was just common back in the days as it is today to get from state to state.
right. And also, I found a fair amount of for industrial job purposes, I should say, from Ireland into the interior of Scotland in the 1800s, I think, and even early 1900s, into the Glasgow area and things like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily former Scots, but certainly somewhere. But Irish in general are from whoever are coming from Ireland to there for jobs, and was a common thing also, which people don't think of. They think of people, well, they went from here, they hopped from Scotland to Ireland and they kept going west, but not necessarily always.
Yes.
That would be luxury, wouldn't it? But it's always darn people live their own lives and now we have to deal with it, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's our puzzle.
That's right. And it's a fun one too. It's good to have a person in a family or in the clan that uh, really does this and can devote the time to it and know how to do it. Anyone can want to, but it's a tough road. Some of these lines, you talk about lines and following them. That's a huge project, and a huge vote of thanks is owed to the person in a clan that does that. I've been finding through this year that there's hopefully someone in each clan that does that and can pass it along when they get older, pass the mantle of that role because it's a vital one.
Yeah, and that is a big thing with I've seen with a lot of the clans. I don't want to say it's a hobby for us older people, but it's getting the younger involved and seeing and understanding it as well, and to continue this.
Right. Well, I know you'd like to see some other people in the country, in the US that is, or anywhere, represent MacQueen along with you. Be nice to have someone up here in New England, for instance, or uh, I know you do it at Grandfather Mountain. You'd like to develop that a little bit, would you? Or
Yes, one thing that's why we're branching out a little bit into our original plan was to just focus on the Carolinas, because that's where we're at. Um,
Mhm.
Tennessee is really just right across the line. So, we got invited. We're wanting to go up. There's a lot of McQueens in and around the Tennessee area. So that kind of gets us in a heart to where some of the families at.
Okay.
Um, just like we want to visit into Scotland County in North Carolina, which is where a lot of the McQueens came in as well. So um, eventually, as we get more people involved and more people under our belt, I guess you can say, we would
Mhm.
love to see other people branching out and getting to other areas. There used to be a group in California that did the events on the West Coast, Um, right before COVID, a lot of them just stopped. They got burned out, or they just decided not to. But
Yep.
we'd love to see people pick up the torch over there too and continue it and work together to spread this all across the nation.
Sure, I'd love to see that happen. If somebody is in New England listening, if we eventually get something going as a standardized thing or even not, because that's things have to happen how they happen. Sometimes it's just organic here and there, as they say. I don't know if I
Yes.
use the term right or not, but anyway, um, if someone up here in New England is McQueen and they'd like to see a tent or like to run a tent, I should say, I'd be willing to take them under my wing a bit, to get them a start and just be someone around on the computer or the phone or on the field with them, and that's a big thing.
And we
Um,
tell everybody, when I first started this, we went to grandfather um year before last and just went to the Chattan tent, and we're like, I know we don't have a McQueen tent here. We were just going to come as kind of a representative of McQueen and be in the Chattan tent to where if people come by that are McQueens, there's somebody they could talk to.
oh yeah,
Um, so we can give them
right,
some information and kind of go from there. And we had several people come in and say, why don't we have a tent? And that's
right,
where the whole thing started for us. We're like, we should do
yeah,
this. We should give everybody that. That's what everybody's asking. Let's try. And it snowballed from there and it continues to grow. So I tell everybody, if you go to an event, any event around the nation, and there is not a McQueen tent, find a Clan Chattan tent.
hmm,
They will be the ones who can
absolutely.
help you along the way. And a lot of them, can cycle it back to us to where we can get in touch with you and we can help you expand from there.
So we're growing in the same way. We're trying to do that. I started out myself as a Clan Hatton Association corner in a Macintosh tent, and I sort of came out of that as a Clan Hatton Association. So I'll get some photos and things of your tent, by the way, at grandfather. It was a beautiful job, Tim, and well, I'll insert it in here somewhere in our talk,
Yeah.
okay?
I owe that to my wife. She's the one that does a lot of the design work for how to make it look. I can come up with the ideas and she can make it work.
Yeah. And what's her name?
Her name's Victoria.
Oh, Victoria. Yeah, great job, Victoria. And the parade too looked like a lot of fun. And I know we had someone there, maybe not a tent, but you had all clans of Hatton there that day, or that weekend, I should say. Seemed like
Yeah,
was
we did a thing last year where Clan Chattan got together and brought all the Confederation clans together at grandfather on Thursday night. We all brought a few snacks, of course a weed ram of scotch,
yeah,
and we all sit around and had spent an hour or so just intermingling among the clans. This is all of us together, and I
great.
think that's a great tradition we should be able to try to continue to do. At least getting everybody together just one night and it lets everybody know, hey, we're here together. We're extended family. So let's make
Yeah,
sure everybody says hello.
that's what it's all about, Tim. 12 cats under one roof. Had to hurt them all, but as long as they behave themselves. But uh,
Exactly.
I know they have that torchlight ceremony Thursday night. That's a beautiful experience at
Yes, it
grandfather.
is.
In the in after dark, they have a torchlight ceremony, and everyone. I should say not everyone. A representative from each clan, I believe. They say they're. I wrote a piece for the Macintosh that year, I think, and someone else said it, I think it was, but um, you can go up there and say a couple sentences or a paragraph about your clan, and then you throw the torch into the main fire, or what is it, Tim? That's what I thought. Or
They have a large structure made that's got the torches on it. So pretty much they take your torch and add it onto the torch itself, to where there's just a big bonfire of all the different torches burning together.
okay, yeah, quite a moving experience. And it was even raining a tiny bit, but nobody cared. Everyone had their black Scottish raincoats on and things, and
Yeah.
etc. And
And it's a harken back to, the calling of the clans of lighting the fires to let everybody know it's time to come, calling everybody forward. So
oh,
it's
good
a
point.
wonderful experience.
Excellent point. The signal fires, they would light on hilltops, right?
Yes.
The hilltop telegraph, you might say.
Yeah. Early form of
Yeah,
texting.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, your tent looked fabulous, and it must be great to be amongst all the Hattons down there. I know that that's the kind of feeling we're trying to foster here, with all our cats and coffee programs and the Clan Hatton Association YouTube channel and my Touch Not channel. It's a whole big project, and it's a whole big dream, I guess. And it's um, our video portion of the whole thing is, maybe a year old now, and it doesn't seem possible, but we've come a long way
Yeah.
learning about all the clans. And so yet another one, MacQueen, is MacQueen, and I think MacLean's as well as McIntyre is also branched off from their main a little bit to join Hatton. Um,
Yeah. We I love being a part of, Clan Hatton and knowing the history of everything that's with the clans there and how the Confederation worked. Um, you don't see that anywhere else in Scotland as far as the clans coming together like this. And
that's
it was a
right.
great way, especially for the MacQueens. We were such a smaller clan that, being a part of the bigger confederation helped give us protection.
Yeah. Yeah, they always say that word took protection, We don't know exactly what that means, but um, whatever it means, you signed on, you're shoulder to shoulder now with everybody else and that kind of a thing. Um, it's interesting that the chief maybe there must have been perhaps there was not a MacQueen chief before that marriage, uh Moidart marriage now when they joined Hatton. I don't know what you think of that, because we're not mentioning a chief until later on now, right?
Right. Yes.
Um,
Because a lot of people they don't realize that McQueen was actually a rather new clan. Um,
hmm.
we can
So,
trace our lineage back, but as far as being a clan, you know, you don't, like you said, you don't really see a chieftain come in until right at the time of joining Clan Chattan. There was no mention of a clan chief really in the Isle of Skye. So that is an interesting point that yes, you're right. It wasn't until after the marriage that the clan started getting an identity there around Coryborough.
right, they certainly had a name and a reputation and that kind of thing for themselves as part of MacDonald, perhaps a sub a subset of MacDonald for a while there,
Yes.
and yet they're MacQueen chief. Yeah, perhaps we don't. Is there a few chiefs that you have records of before the gentleman that left at 1805 or so?
Um,
That's the
Not on
Corey
hand, I
Bros.
don't. I do have a list in one of my books. It's got all the chieftains down that we did have.
Okay, yeah.
Um, I need to pull that up and post that actually. So
No, that's okay. But I just meant there are records. There is a line of going back within the Hatton lands, I suppose.
yes,
There, okay. Which is that Ravan might have be considered the first chief then.
yes, I do believe
Uh,
so.
yeah, I found that in a few places in this book and in several others. That book it actually uses many other sources I've run across, because a lot of these boil down. It's what it is you're boiling down, almost like making syrup. You
Yeah,
boil it down from all these sources, and you say, that's where he got that, that's where he got that, and the list becomes smaller and smaller and older, in origin at least, if not in actual volumes like this thing here that is an 1898 publication.
yeah. That's the great thing about books is you go online and a lot of everything traces back to a certain book reference.
Yep.
And now, as I as I find those references, the first thing I want to do is I want to copy the book. I want it in hand, so it's not
Right. I've got this Kinrara manuscript, and it's great. Actually, I like it because it's not bound. Because, well, someone sent me this, but I can search through it and make notes on it and do all kinds of things I want to. It's not a book really, but
right.
But if you could just think about my situation, we've only got a couple of minutes left. I've got 12 places to boil down from, to some cases, a few documents like this book or that Kinrara or other, like these writing, the band documents, for instance, right?
Yes.
A lot of these things boil back down to that, which is the 1609 signing of a band of union.
Yeah.
That one actually mentions the guy, I can't think of his first name, in Coraborough. He's signing for a few other people. It's saying taking under his own weight, basically, vouching for
Yes.
their sakes, two or three other MacQueens on that 1609 band of union. So, well, we're going to do a little more MacQueen this month. Maybe you can get together with me on that too, Tim, if you like.
Yes, definitely.
We could do a few short segment type of things if you like. Why don't we do that? We can pick a topic or two, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about Grandfather Mountain.
Now, like I said, I know we will be in Smoky Mountain. That will be in May 17th and 18th. And then Grandfather Mountain will be July 10th through the 13th this year or next year.
Ah, okay. All right,
So
good.
we have those set that we will be at. We're going to visit a lot of other areas as possible. Maybe not do a tent there, but I would like to reach out and visit a few others, and see
Yep.
as far as future places for us to venture out into as well.
Good for you. Thank you so much for this, Tim. And on behalf of all MacQueens and Hattons, it's great to have someone like yourself to really step out there and take the helm of this and be an ambassador for it. It's great to see it. It really is. We only have a minute or two left here, but why don't we why don't we do something else? I'll talk to you very soon. We have a whole month ahead of us. That's why I wanted to get this done soon, and we'll get this out to everybody. And all right, so thank you so much, Tim. Elgin, Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Thank you,
Yep.
Tim. Thanks for
All
being
right.
here with us, everybody. Touch not. Find Clan MacQueen on Facebook. Stay on the trail of the Touch Not channel. Please subscribe. Thank you.